Hello all, in this particular tutorial we will learn how to set up the database link from Oracle to MySQL. This tutorial is done on Oracle 19c running on Linux 8. I got a local Oracle database called Aura19d hosted on DB1. I got a remote MySQL database called test_MySQL hosted on DB2. We will be creating DB link in Aura19d pointing to MySQL database called test_MySQL, or in other words, we'll connect to Aura19d and access tables present in test_MySQL database. So the connection will be made, the user connection will be made to this Oracle database. From this Oracle database, we will access the tables present in this test_MySQL database. So that DB link will point from Oracle to MySQL, and from Oracle, we will be accessing the tables which are present in MySQL database. Make sure that Unix ODBC package is installed. If that is not installed, go ahead and install it on the server where your Oracle database is running. Now, what are the steps? On the source Oracle database, so wherever your Oracle database is running, which is in our case is host DB1, we need to perform some steps as root and some as Oracle. So as root, install MySQL ODBC driver, create ODBC entry in etc odbc.ini file pointing to remote MySQL database. Once that is done, switch to Oracle, create init parameter file called init inst_mysql.aura. Here inst_mysql becomes your SID. This is the name of init parameter file, and inst_mysql will become your SID, Oracle SID. Register this SID in listener.aura. Create entry in tnsnames.aura pointing to SID. At this moment, your setup is done. Log into Oracle database and create DB link in the Oracle database. Optionally, create synonym. What are the steps at target MySQL database where on the host DB2? Nothing. You don't have to log into your MySQL database. There is absolutely nothing that you have to do. Everything that we'll be doing is on the server where Oracle database is running. Let me repeat the steps for you. Install MySQL ODBC drivers, create ODBC entry, create init parameter file, register SID in listener.aura, create entry in tnsnames.aura. At this moment, your work is done. Go ahead, create DB link in Oracle database, optionally create synonym. Let's see these steps in detail. To install MySQL ODBC drivers, you will download this particular package and you will install the ODBC connector. So this is the ODBC connector. I have given you the link and I'll show you in a minute how to get this particular package. Once the ODBC driver is installed, create the ODBC entry in etc odbc.ini file. Now here, this is the name of your data source, can be of your choice, whatever you want to refer to this is your choice. This is the server where the MySQL database is running. This is the port of MySQL database. This is the name of MySQL database. So what we are doing here is we are accessing test_MySQL database using this ODBC entry. And this particular driver name is what we got after installing this particular package. So once you install this particular package, you will have this particular driver. Once the ODBC entry is done, now your work as root is done. Let's log in as Oracle and first create our init parameter file called inst_mysql. Again, this is your choice. Where we have to create the init parameter file under the Oracle Home HS admin. So under the Oracle Home HS admin, we will create this init parameter file. This again, as I mentioned, this name of SID is your choice. What is important here is HSFDS connect info. This particular name should match to the name that you have given here. So this should match to this. So this init parameter file will come to know which data source to connect using this particular entry. Here, this library, this ODBC library is the same which I have used here, and that would be once you have installed this, you will get that particular library. Here, then also we are setting this ODBC ini. So where to look for that ODBC entry? We are telling the init file to look for that particular ODBC entry in etc odbc.ini using this particular parameter. Once you have created the init parameter file, remember this becomes your SID inst_mysql, which we will use in listener.aura to register do the static registration using dg4 ODBC program under Oracle Home. So we are doing the static registration of that particular SID. Once that is done, you are ready to create the TNS entry. Again, this is of your choice here, but the SID should match. This SID should match to this, and this should match to this. Once you have created this, once you have created the TNS entry, your work as is done, and now you can log into the Oracle database and create and test DB link. To create the DB link, you can either create a public database link or private database link based on your requirement. Here I have given you an example of public database link. This is the name of using the create public database link. We are going to create the DB link, and this is the name of your choice, whatever name you want to give. This is the user who has the access on the remote MySQL database. This is the password of this particular user, and this TNS underscore MySQL is the string, the TNS entry that we created in TNS names.ora. Once you have created the DB link, you can now access the data present in MySQL database from the Oracle database using this particular syntax. Select star from name of the table, which is the MySQL table, at DB link name. Now, if you want to optionally create the synonym, you can go ahead and create the synonym using create synonym statement. So create synonym, name of the synonym for the table which is from the MySQL, the DB link of the MySQL. Once you have created the synonym, and now if you do the select star from the synonym name, you are going to actually refer to the underlying table which is hosted in MySQL over the DB link. Now that we have seen all the steps, let's do these steps one by one in our system. Now, first thing that I mentioned, let me go back here. First thing that we have mentioned, you need to have the Unix ODBC package installed on your machine. So let's verify that. Let's log in. Yes, I have logged in. Let me clear the screen. Let me do some steps we need to do as root. So let's log into the root. Let's verify that particular package, and you can see Unix ODBC package is installed. If it is not installed, go ahead and install that particular package. Once that is done, the next part that I mentioned is installing the ODBC drivers and creating ODBC entry. Now, this particular ODBC driver, from where we are going to get it, I gave the link here in the tutorial from this particular website. But let's go to the browser of your choice, and let's say, instead of going to that link, let's search for this, download MySQL ODBC connector, get this link. I'm using 8.0.33. Based on your MySQL version, you might want to change it. So let's choose 8.033. Let's choose the Red Hat Enterprise Linux. I'm doing this on 8. So let's do this 8. And here we are going to download this RBM package. So let's download this RBM package. So that particular package has been downloaded. Our work as in the Firefox is done. Let's close this. Let's transfer that particular file to the server. So here the download has been done. So let's transfer that particular file to the server. So that's done. Let's close this. Our work is NCP, WinSCP has also been done. So now here you should be able to find that particular file, and you can see we got this particular file. Now, before I install this particular file, let me open one more session, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do in this session. So let me clear the screen, and I'm going to search for if there are any MySQL packages on my system. So let's search for if any MySQL packages are installed using RPM QA grep -I, and looks like there is nothing. Now let's search for if there is the myodbc lib file, and you can see we don't have that particular file. So remember that neither MySQL driver is installed, neither we got this MySQL ODBC file. Now let's go ahead and install the MySQL ODBC that we have transferred using WinSCP. So let's install this particular package. Local install instead of just local install. I made a mistake. So let's add yum here, and that's got installed. And now that we have installed this particular package, let's verify in our second session that I opened whether we got any MySQL package. And yes, you got MySQL ODBC connector ODBC package. And let's verify if we got that particular package. Now let me show you something here. If I do star here, you can see there are two files. One is the ANSI driver, one is the Unicode driver. Based on your requirement, you can use one of the drivers. I'm going to stick to ANSI driver. So that's done. Now the next part is once I have installed the ODBC driver, the next part is creating the ODBC entry in etc odbc.ini file. Now let me create this particular file. Let me create this particular entry. To do that, again, we need to do this as root because odbc.ini file is owned by root. So let's add this particular entry. And I'm going to explain you all of these parameters once again. So here, this is the name of your data source, your choice, whatever. This is the driver that we just got downloaded. This is the driver that we downloaded. You can see that is the driver that we downloaded. This is the server where the MySQL database is running. This is the MySQL port. This is the name of your MySQL database. Now, this particular two parameters I have added in odbc.ini, which I'm going to remove, but let me do some kind of test. So this, I don't want to keep this particular parameter in this odbc.ini file because odbc.ini file is a plain text file. Anybody can open that particular file. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to verify this particular connectivity and I'm going to remove this. So I'm kept this. So let's save this particular file. That's done. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to verify whether we are able to connect to MySQL database. So using iSQL -v ds, and you can see we are connected. So the connectivity looks good. So from the DB1, we were able to connect to our MySQL. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to remove the user and password because the DB link does not need the username and password in odbc.ini file. So that's done. If you want to verify that I have really removed it, you can do the cat. And you can see I don't have the username and password. So that's done. Our work as root is done. We are now ready to switch to Oracle. So let me log in as Oracle user. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to set, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the environmental variable because that sets me my Oracle home, etc. There are three things that we need to do as Oracle user. What are those three things? Create init parameter file, register SID in listener.ora, create entry in tnsname.ora, and then we will log into the Oracle database. So to do that, So to create the init parameter file, let's vi this particular file. Here again, as I mentioned, I'll repeat. This becomes your SID. Now let me enter and add this particular parameters to my init parameter file. So here, this particular name should match to ODBC. This is the MySQL driver that we installed. And you can see the file is pretty simple. And this particular entry says where to look for ODBC. So the file is pretty simple. So let's save this particular file. So that's first part. The next part is doing the static registration in our listener.ora. So that's the second part. Let's do that. And what we are going to do here, we are going to add a static registration for the SID that we just created. So let's do that. And I've added, and let me little bit maximize this. You can see program is dg4 odbc inst_mysql oracle home. So that's all I have done. And this particular SID is now statically registered with our listener. So let's save this particular file. And what I'm going to do, we have two choices. If I do lsnr ctl status, you will not be able to find that. You will not be able to find that SID. You can see we have only one instance registered. So we don't have the another service. So what we can do, we can either bounce the listener or we can reload the listener. So I'm going to reload the listener. Now, if I look at the status, I should have the inst_mysql. Yes, that is there. Or what I could have done is like I could have grabbed just to find out whether that really entry is there. So let's do that. And you can see inst_mysql service has been registered with my listener. So that's the second part. And the last part is creating an entry in tnsnames.ora pointing to this particular SID. So let's do that. So we have an entry for our Oracle database. Let's create an entry for our MySQL database, not MySQL database, tns_mysql. This should match to your SID. This can be of your choice. So that's done. Let's save this. And now we are going to verify that TNS entry is working fine. So let's do TNS ping. And yes, we got the output. At this moment, your work is done. And you can now log into Oracle database. So let me disconnect and reconnect. Probably this is the old session. So let me open the worksheet. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create the DB link. So let's take all of this, and I don't have to drop. There is no synonym. So I'm going to do this. And what I'm going to say here is this is the name of your DB link. This is the name of your DB link. This is the user which has got the access, MySQL user, which has got the access on MySQL database. This is the password of that particular user using this TNS entry that we created. So this is the way we are going to create the database link. So let's hit the enter. The database link has been created. Now, if I do the select sysdate from this MySQL DB link, we should get the output. So let's verify. Yes, we got the output. And then if I run the select star from test underscore MySQL at DB link, let's do that. And you can see we got this particular output. So we got this particular output is from the MySQL database over the DB link. So the DB link has already been set up and we got this output over the DB link. Now, if you don't believe me that this is coming from the MySQL DB link, let me do something. Let me log into that particular server, DB2 server. Our MySQL database is running in DB2 server. So let me log into that database, MySQL -u root. Okay, I need to give P. Let me clear this. And enter the password. That's done. Now, if I say use the test underscore MySQL, show tables, and you can see we got this test table. And if I do select star from test, we should see that we got one record, one underscore MySQL DB, which means that this particular record is coming from MySQL database. And if you still don't believe me, what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert one record in that MySQL database directly. So let me insert this record. That's done. Let's verify that that record is there. Let me commit for safety. And now if I go back to the Oracle, I should see two records. If everything is working fine, I should see two records. And the second record that we just inserted, two new record. Yes, we got the second record, which means that we have successfully established the DB link connectivity to MySQL. Now, optionally, you can create the synonym. As I explained, you can create the synonym pointing to the test MySQL table over the DB link. Let's do that. Let's create this particular synonym. And now when I select from that particular synonym, I'm actually accessing the base underlying table over the DB link. Let's verify. And yes, you can see we got the same output. So this was the tutorial on how to set up the DB link from Oracle to MySQL, and these are the steps that we followed. There are two steps that we did as root, and there are three steps that we did as Oracle, and then we were able to create the DB link. So what are the steps as root? Install MySQL ODBC drivers and create ODBC entry. And what are the steps as Oracle? Three steps: create init parameter file, register SID in listener.aura, create entry in tnsnames.aura. At again, I would like to say, if you do like the content that I'm uploading, if you do like the videos that I'm uploading to my channel, do hit the like button, do hit the subscribe button. And I would like to say thank you for watching. See you in next tutorial. Bye bye. Till then, bye bye. Enjoy.